Thank you, Angel, and Heidi ho, everyone. If you can't hear me due to the very loud noise that's going on outside my window, it is a brush cutter going absolute nuts. So just let me know if you can't hear me well enough, and I will close the window, which will make it quite warm in here, but that's okay. I'm only here for a brief time. I'm the crowd warmer today because it is Wednesday, and that means it's Ash and Ainsley to take you through trading buddies for the hour. But I'm here just to get things underway and to report on the usual, which is pound US dollar and the potential for the breakout trade. Now we are already in 1, 2, 3 positions. Yes, 3 positions, all going long. You can see this one from 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whenever it was, is just about at entry. The one from yesterday got triggered, didn't get TP1, hit the highs and went bang, just like it got shot in the throat. Now, that actual movement has me completely convinced that this is going short. And for that reason, wow, that noise must be horrendous. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing? Loud and clear. Thanks, Paul P. All right, I'll continue. I can hardly hear myself. So I don't know how you guys are going. Anyway, that candle yesterday has me in very, 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 very mood. A few reasons, not just the fact that it's a absolute shocker in terms of a trading candle, but it's a clear rejection of the highs here, the top of our range, not quite up to the horizontal level that I had anticipated would be the turnaround point, but gee whiz, you've got to be brave to be saying this is not a big bearish sign. Great to see you too, Agnes, I must admit. Though I can't see you, I can certainly feel your presence. So the decision is, do we hang around here and stay in these trades and cast our fate to the wind, or more particularly to the charts, or do we close out here? We would take a small loss on yesterday. We would be at break even on the day before, but big winner on whenever that was. I can't remember when that was. I'm inclined to do so, because if I'm reading this chart right, pound US dollar is disappearing today, probably down to here at least, and then back to here, maybe onward. Hard to predict, but big double top, big triple top, big rejection bar, false break of the resistance trade line, which of course is the top of the range. And yeah, I don't think I need much more information to tell me that that's the potential in what's going to, well, again, it's potential. You can't predict with any certainty, but that certainly looks bearish to me. So if I get out of here, I'm wrong. We are going to make a small amount of money instead of a bigger amount of money. But I can't see this going long here. I just really can't. I then cast my attention to the dollar index, which of course will be a determining factor in what happens to our US dollar. And I see a break and retest of the resistance trade line from yesterday. But I now also see we've had consolidation above, and we're coming back below that trend line / trade line. It's interesting, very, very interesting. So that's telling me no, pound won't go short today. Questions, more questions than answers. Anyway, I'm going to hang around for a little bit in this trade, and if I see what happens at the open, in particular if that's extremely bearish, then I will get out. But I must say, all of my stops I have moved underneath yesterday's candle. So no matter what happens here, we will win on the net position, but it will only be small, as I said before. So that's my stance. I've moved my stop underneath today's bar, and I'm going to leave my fate to whatever the market reacts to the Open of London session and beyond today. If I see another rejection here, I'll probably just take profit. Righto, that's pound US dollar. Am I going to trade the breakout today? Of course, is the burning question. We do have a range. There's no doubt about that. What determines a range? Well, good question, and I should answer that. If we are not in a trend, in other words, we're not getting consistent higher highs and higher lows going forward, or lower lows and lower highs going the other way, then we're not in a trend, and therefore we're probably in a range. And that's what my determination is. So the range today would be the low of yesterday and the high of yesterday, because we take into consideration the past 24 hours and the current time frame. So there's the range for you. Question: when do I seek to break the range? When do I not? Well, simply I look at support and resistance, whether that be a horizontal level, whether it be a trade line, whether it be a channel or triangle, don't care what it is. There's your range, about 75 pips, so 80 pips by the time you put your spreads in, or your entry and stop loss in. So 80 pips, we've got to go from basically there to this level here, which is 14 pips. So we're hitting pretty strong support at 15 pips. If we go long, we're hitting pretty strong resistance at 23 pips. I don't think it's a good trade today, guys. I don't think there's any room at all to take a decent TP or get to TP1. Let's put it that way. All of that said, if I were to be trading this today, and I'm keen to trade this today because I think it can go short, I would be certainly looking for lower highs in the vicinity of the daily pivot, which is pretty much where we are at this point. So a lower high here really does get me interested. I'll let you guys decide if you are in these trades, what you want to do. As I said, my stops are underneath yesterday's candle. If it goes long, happy days. If it doesn't, then we'll have a small winner as a net result. Righto, let's point out a couple of things. I don't know if Lewis is in the room yet, or if he's coming in, may not be coming in today. I don't know. I can't see him in the room at present. We were talking about the euro dollar yesterday, and pretty as a picture. If I can find the dash thing, where's it gone? Euro dollar, there you are. So yesterday we were around about this time talking about whether euro dollar was tradable and in which direction we would seek to trade it. Now, those of you who've been with me for a long time, or not even such a long time, will know that I think the biggest edge that I take into 30-minute trading or intraday trading is the numbers around the daily pivot and how many times it's tested. Yesterday, price was here. And I'm going to take you through this exact trade and show you why I couldn't take it in the first place, but I could have taken it in the second instance. Now, we were talking about the perfect slingshot setup, which is pretty much in evidence here. We've had 3 tests of the trade line. We've had a little approach with a doji bar on a 30-minute chart here. Then we've had a pullback away from the trend line. Now, this is absolutely typical of slingshot setup, where you would put your entry there and you would put your stop loss there. You would be taking profit at the daily pivot. One issue there yesterday was that it would have broken one of my rules to actually trade that, because the rule states that I can't trade into the high of the day, which that candle was, without taking profit. Now, I could have done that with a very small profit and then taken my exited the trade at the daily pivot. Could have done that, but I always choose, when that is the case, not to do that, but to wait for the second opportunity. The second opportunity came with the break and then the retest of the trade line. So you could have traded there at reasonably high risk, in my opinion, or there at far lesser risk, because you had taken out the high of the day. That's the key. So when the high of the day is taken out, you've therefore got a new high. You can jump in the market at that point. Very little room, of course, between here and there, but from there to there would have been a good one. And then, of course, our analysis told us that the euro would go short. So if, and Lewis is in, here he is, I can see. If you look at this, this is precisely what Lewis and I were talking about yesterday. Long to go short. And when you're trading intraday, what do? You trade between the pivots and the daily support and resistance level, which are also pivots, of course. So that's a prime example of intraday trading on euro dollar. When you've got an untested daily pivot, always good if you can get a trade towards it. As I said, I didn't take that one. I didn't take this one because I wasn't in front of the charts, but the retest would have been the one to take for me. Bolder people than I would have got in at that level there. Anyway, that's something to lock away. Now today, let's talk about today. There were 3 game changer bars on my radar, and they were pound Swiss. Pound Swiss is game changer bar because its high is higher than the previous day, and it closed not on, but pretty near its low. Now, this one's a bit tricky because it is in a range, and you've got to determine whether we've actually come off the bottom and are looking for the top of the range, or if we've come off the top and we're looking for the bottom. That's the dilemma under which you would be in this instance. That's one of the reasons I wouldn't have taken this trade. The other one is that there's a fairly strong support line pretty much just under you there. So a bit dangerous. So I didn't think that was the best of them. There was another opportunity on pound US dollar. And as I said before, that is an extremely bearish signal. But for those of you who are slingshot aficionados, not that trade line, but that one, it's also giving you the alternate. So you've got high test bar here, high test bar here, a little bit of a muck up in the middle. And that is it's a slingshot setup, but it's not quite in the right context. So I wouldn't be trading that long. Definitely bearish, in my humble opinion. And to me, this looks like a lower low off these highs. And I totally see this going short. I don't want to trade it on the daily bar because it's pretty close to the first support level. It's probably enough for him to take profit there, but I think there's probably a better opportunity upcoming if you get a lower high on a 4-hour chart, making good the triple top that you see here. So maybe up here somewhere, if you see that level and a reversal bar, that may well be worth your while. If you are in that opinion, you may be in completely the opposite opinion to me, and that's fine. The third of our game changer bars today was Kiwi US dollar, and I think this is still there. It's tough to be short the Kiwi, to be honest, given the big breakout of the range that we've been in since what, beginning of the year? Where is that? Come off the top on the 22nd of February. So since then, we've been going top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top, top to, didn't make it. Why not? Interest rate rise. That's upset the apple cart. Now, it was expected, that is true. And I'm of the opinion that the market was probably through this area here, thinking we're going to get one anyway. I'm looking for this to come back, maybe to the trade line or the top of the range. That kind of makes sense to me. That's the weekly chart I'm looking at. We've already had a game changer bar on the daily. Since then, we've had kind of inside bars. But then yesterday, we got this one. And I think that's the real one. It's showing me the potential for that to be a lower high based off the bearish, pardon me, bearish engulfing bar, which of course is a game changer bar in its own right. So I believe that's a trade. However, I took the other option, which was not Kiwi US dollar. It was Aussie US dollar. And I'll show you that one in a minute. But this one's still there, whereas the Aussie, where is that? There. The Aussie's stop loss would have been taken out. Now, the Aussie to me is almost the same chart, right? Except the Kiwi's been in better shape, obviously, because of the interest rate rise. Big bearish engulfing bar, which of course is a game changer bar. Inside bar, not quite, because we had a lower low. Inside bar, inside bar. This is going to take off at some stage, as is Kiwi versus US dollar, in my humble opinion. Now, the question mark is, now that this bar here, which is the bar I was trading, has had its high taken out, and therefore where the stop would have been, and I'm no longer in this trade because I cancelled it. Do I now wait for this one to repeat that, or do I wait for it to take out the third one? So I've got to wait for that to happen before I now trade Aussie US dollar. But it is still looking like a sell to me. Probably better still if it gets up here, then gives us a lower high. That would be better still, because it would come back off the top of that channel. That's Aussie dollar. And the one that I did take this morning, if you wanted to follow, that's bad luck because I've cancelled it. It's done, gone, but I am waiting for another opportunity to do so. That therefore, and the reason I wouldn't have taken both the Kiwi and the Aussie, it was very much the same trade, in my humble opinion. But now I see the Kiwi sitting by its lonesome against the dollar. And I don't think I've got a Kiwi chart up there. Have I? Should have. No, I don't. Let's have one. Kiwi versus the dollar. Where are you? There it is, highlighted. Okay, so same scenario. Actually, whilst I'm on that chart, it's an hourly chart. I'm having a good look at this because there is a fairly decent level that we're currently at. But the daily, that reversal bar is still there. The other reason I didn't take this over the Aussie was that the, pardon me, TP1, which of course has to be at the weekly pivot, was less attractive than it is on the Aussie versus the US dollar. But this trade's still there because we haven't gone outside the top of it. Still got a bearish engulfing bar. This is still potential lower high. Let me just see if there is worthy, or if it is worthy of our attention. So the risk has to be 46 odd pips. First take profit is only 10, and that's the problem. That is the problem. Lewis, I'll have a look at that Aussie dollar, and Swee, yes, I'll have a look at pound yen in just a tick. That's the problem I have with this one. Though it does look, I like it. I do like it. But I'm going to have to wait on it now and see what happens at this weekly pivot, if indeed it gets there. All right, so that was really what I was looking at today. I like the look of Aussie Swissy. Aussie yen we were in the other day, and that's now expired because what we were looking to trade on the daily, we were looking to trade, can't remember. No, we're just looking for a pullback, weren't we? We placed an order. We placed an order. Was it on that bar? No, it can't have been. I can't remember. We did place an order short. Maybe that one. That was last Friday. Couldn't have been that one. Got me beat now. We did place an order anyway. And I'm still waiting for that to happen as it comes off the top of this channel. Or is it at the top of this channel? And that is the question that we must ask ourselves. I'm waiting for a false break of this trade line, basically, if I'm honest, on a monthly basis. And that, of course, is a long way from now. But that big rejection bar there is a bit of a hint as to what may come very, very shortly. I think as soon as we hit the top of that, we'll peel back off it. But I don't think it's for a long time. because I see this area as a target for Aussie yen. So thinking maybe a little bit of consolidation in between the trade lines here, then look to trade it up to there. But shorts definitely on the cards right now, and I'm waiting for that to happen. If it pulls down to here, it's not going to upset the cycle at all. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. The higher low can come right back to here. So that's why I'm interested in trading, and then back up to there at some stage. I said Aussie Swissy, not Aussie yen, but they're very, very similar. And if I look at the daily on Aussie Swiss, what do I see? Now, I don't like to trade false breaks of non-existent, in my humble opinion, resistance trade lines, because this is not a resistance trade line for me. A resistance trade line comes from high to high, left to right. This one's going high to high, sorry, right to left, and this one's going left to right. But it is pretty clear that it's broken through here. It's consolidated. It's come back underneath, and it's retested. That, to me, looks far too clean to ignore. Far too clean to ignore. It's a daily chart. You could still take the order if you wanted to, but I think there'll be a better entry. So the order would be under there. Where you put your stop loss now is an issue. You've probably got to go above the swings. So 117, looking for about 83. That's okay. And then an extension down to here. But I think there's going to be a far better opportunity as we come off the tops here. So I'm looking for maybe a daily pivot test today and a lower high in here. I think that would be a very, very reasonable approach to take. Now, back to the questions. Pound yen first. Do I have a pound yen chart? Negatory, good buddy. Okay, let's create one. Pound yen. All right, do we have a directional bias pound yen? Okay, it's pretty clear to me that we've got two powerful scenarios here. One of them, I can use my pen. I'll use my pen. One of them is this. So head and shoulders, driving the market. You could probably put a trend line through there. I should put a trend line rather than a chalk line, shouldn't I? But it's pretty clear that that trend line has now been broken. On a monthly chart, don't forget, right? So it's not over yet. The fat lady hasn't sung. We've got 3 days left in the month, 4 days left in the month. But it also looks as though, I'll put this in properly. The pen was a bad idea. But the other key here is the massive double bottom. You can't miss that. Haven't got a higher high until here. Now we haven't yet got a higher low because it hasn't really formed. This could crash back here, unlikely, but it could crash back here before that low is actually a higher low. So that's what I'd be looking for. We haven't yet, in my humble opinion. You could probably call that higher low, first higher low, but I'd be looking for another one. Let me now put those trend lines in and see what we can see. This one's probably important. Big break, but where is it? There's a confluence here. Also broken that at this moment. Weekly chart, broken through, retested. Daily chart, showing me a low high potential, but do I have a reversal pattern? And that's the first thing I look at. If I'm looking to reverse a momentum or a trend, then I have to see a reversal pattern, and I don't see a reversal pattern there on the daily chart. 4 hourly chart, yes, I probably do. Bit of a double top, you could call it head and shoulders, but we've now got a lower high in here. But look at what's happened since consolidation. Impossible for me to go short here because of the pivots, and pretty tough to go long until this happens. And this would be a corker if it works, if it sets up rather. Break, retest, at the confluence area, short, take profit here, leave it in because you do have potential for reversal. Alternate, break, consolidate, re-entry above the pivots and above the trade line, pull back to the trade line and the daily pivot, for instance, maybe even the weekly pivot, enter long, take profit here and let it rip, see how you go. So two options there on pound yen, in my humble opinion. I don't really have an overall view, but the weekly chart is telling me exactly what I've just described, basically. If it can bounce off this level, then we're going for new highs, or we're going to continue the monthly push above the highs. However, if we can't stay above this line here, which is what, 155.55, then I think we're going back into range. So back down to this area here. Hope that helps. Hi, Kamal. You're already in at 157.19 with a stop at 155.9. Look, I can't fault you. Can't fault you. 150. When did you get in? 157.19. Stop loss 155.95. Is that a wave rider trade, Kamal, or your own system? 157.19. I'm trying to work out where you'd get in. Is there. So I'm guessing trading that bar looks like it might be a wave rider, but I don't know if that's with wave rider's rules. But it looks like a break above the weekly pivot. So I guess that's where you've entered. H1, okay. H1, 157.19 yesterday. Okay, same thing, right? So you probably traded that bar, no? Higher. I'm not sure why, what candle you got in or what system you're trading, but totally get it. Have you taken profit? Have you taken profit is the question. And I'm hoping that's the case, because this is now on a knife edge, in my humble opinion. It could go either way. And I don't know what system you're trading, but there's no way I would trade through that level without taking profit. First resistance, I would be taking profit, getting yourself safe in the market. In which case, you'd probably be out now at a break-even trade. But that's me. Everyone's different. But that's, it's pretty clear to me what's going to happen. And it's one of two things. And it's always, you can say that 100 times a day and 50 times a month, or whatever. Of course, that's the case. But there is a third option, sideways. And that's also possible. But I'm not here to predict what is going to happen. I'm here to say, if this happens, then I think that will happen. Or if that happens, I think that will happen. That's what I'm in the business of. I'm not in the business of predicting that this is going to hell in a handbasket or to heaven by stairway. I'm not in that business. I'm only in the business of saying, market's done this, and therefore I expect it to do that. That's pretty much where I'm coming from. The other one was going back to Aussie US dollar. So I hope that helps, and I hope you. Yes, wave rider H1. Okay, cool, Kamal. I hope it does a very good job for you. Aussie dollar. Now, what was the question? The bottom channel line down to the low. Down to the low on bottom channel line down to the low. Down here. Whoa. As you were. Where you mean, Lewis? You mean down to there? Yep. Yeah, totally. Why not? Why not indeed? Where's that tool that Ash showed me? This thing. How does that work?
I am here, mate. I don't know if you knew I was here, but yeah, I am here if
No,
you need us.
I know you're hiding
That
in the
tool,
background.
if you place,
Yep, keep going. Tell me.
you got it.
Yeah, what?
If hold on, I need to remember. So you got it on your chart. You got it on your thing now. Hold on.
What do I
Let me
do with
look
the
at it.
bloody thing? That's the question.
It was a linear regression, right?
That's the one. You sound like you got a cold, mate.
Oh mate, I tell you what, I'm losing my voice by the day at the minute. It's terrible. Um, right.
Some
So,
people are very sad about that, but some people are going to be happy with it.
if you place it
Yep.
where this from the start to the end of where you want it to measure.
Ah,
Yeah.
now I can't bend it. That's the thing.
No. It's not bendable.
Bloody
It's
thing.
because it's measuring the bars. So it's
Right.
not something you can manipulate.
I'll
It's
try it
literally.
one more time. See if I can get it right.
Oh, I'll tell you what's happened to my voice, Lewis. I've been sneezed in the face by a snotty little 5-year-old, and it has battered me for a head cold, and I'm tired. I'm run down. So yeah, it's battered my voice.
All right. Since I can't bend it, it's very similar to what I probably had on my chart. Not
So
dissimilar anyway.
what is it? What is it you want to what is it you want to try and do with it, mate?
Oh, we're just trying to see where this is likely to go. It does bounce off the top of this range, basically.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well,
And
it looks
we're
like the
just
monthly resistance
pontificating
too.
the best place to put it, really.
I think you want to put it where the trend starts and ends.
That's where I had my. Now, if I put that thing on, what do you call it?
Well, that's the equidistant tool, right?
Now, if I put this over the top of it and go from there to there, it's lower. No,
slightly lower. But then, why don't you start it on the last the swing low after that? Because that's really where that trend is, isn't it?
Where do you want me to put it?
Is
From
it
here to
September
here.
the 20th? Yeah, there. Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to put it.
Oh, we'll just start it there, mate. If you grab it.
Yep.
Don't go there. So actually start on the next swing low, on the swing low.
On this one.
There. Yeah.
Now do what?
So click it and then drag it.
My godfathers.
There you go.
Oh, it went up there.
Yeah, well,
it
that
picked
gives
its
you
own channel.
Yeah, so it's given you the current trends kind of linear regression with that one. I mean, I think if you're going to be looking at it depends if what zone you're looking in. Because if you're looking at that kind of that range, if you like the W pattern range, then you want it right at the start of the W pattern.
Yeah, no, I'd have to study this a bit
like
more.
That tool, don't you? That's it. You grab it from the middle line.
I hate the bloody thing at the moment because I can't use it. But
yeah, there. Try it.
Lewis is making a good point. There's probably where you'd want to be looking if you do get in here short. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan of getting in short Aussie dollar. But then I see this today. Oh, it's looking a bit better. Doesn't want to close below that trade line. That's a good thing. So I see this as break retest material for the dollar index. Not that I can trade it.
Yeah.
But you can convert that over to the pound. The pound's given us a big rejection bar yesterday, big game changer bar. Aussie has done not as dramatic, but it's there. Kiwi has certainly done it as well. It's all pointing to a strong dollar today for me.
Well, inflation numbers from Australia were hit out of the ballpark as well overnight, and I think that that really does help the narrative that the Aussie, best placed currency really for global growth. Inflation starting to get out of hand, that they'll probably likely move. There's bets on the ECB moving, but I tell you, there's no chance of that happening. So if you're looking at a nice weak currency and you're looking to trade the dollar long, I would have thought the euro is a good bet.
Is the go.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean the ECB are out. What is it tomorrow? So that might just put pay to some of the price action. It might get a little bit vicious and a little bit choppy, but overall, you've got to say that Christine Lagarde is not making the kind of mood music that suggests that the euro should strengthen.
And that's pretty much been the case since she took office, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it is. She's I suppose trying to think what she was like during the IMF days. Was she always such a dove?
I thought she had pretty good cred, frankly.
Yeah. Well, maybe she does.
Whether that converts to being a mover and a shaker, I'm not sure.
I don't know, mate. She just does not buy into this inflation story. She's she's continuously she's banging the same transitory drum on the inflation story. The market doesn't seem to be that worried about inflation at this stage. We've seen some pretty heavy moves overnight with some of the equities, but particularly the US equities, but doesn't seem to be to do with the inflation story. I think they've kicked that down the road a little bit, maybe a couple of weeks or so. And it's strange. It's like the market, when it first got its initial shock of high inflation numbers, it was spooked. But now we're in that situation where the high inflation numbers are just becoming quite readily accepted, which is an odd situation, really.
Yeah, look, and we continue to have this odd situation. We've said this at the beginning of the week. I think it's going to be a little bit curly this week.
Yeah,
maybe the smaller time frames of the go. I don't know.
I don't know, mate. I mean, this is. I think yes, if you're looking for ranges, because curly suggests a range, doesn't it?
And we're seeing that certainly.
Yeah, but the ranges are tight. The ranges are hyper tight, and I think that's the problem. So even range traders have got to be more brave than they would normally, because you've got to pick the absolute low and run it to the absolute high to make it worthwhile. Difficult week.
Or take the little bits in between, yes, and be happy with the little bits.
Yeah.
And that was there yesterday on the euro. Lewis, did you trade this? Were you brave enough to trade this through the high? The retest was the go, out at the daily pivot. Beautiful, beautiful. Long to get short.
Yeah.
I wonder if George managed to get all of that. Because on a 5-minute chart, that'll be quite lucrative, I would have thought.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. I don't know what he'd be looking at with a 5-minute chart. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what his George's parameters are actually, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because strategies work in range or they work in trend, and you've still got to get the setup that enables you to get into that range of the trend. So there's this a few permutations when you're trying to take any trades.
Good on you, Lewis. That's exactly what we spoke about. Did well. You're a braver man than I. I don't know how you get in. You just trade the levels, and that's fine if you can do it. I can't. I'm not a level trader. But that was the go. Daily pivot short. Awesome. I better let you set some stuff up, I suppose. I've just about expired my view of the day thus far.
Mate, I really appreciate that. It saved my voice a bit as well, which is fantastic.
Mate, I'll hang around in case Ainsley doesn't come in, and I'll rescue.
Oh, Ainsley's already cancelled, so
I'll hang around, mate.
No, you don't have to, mate. It's not a problem. I mean, I'll probably have to do a quick burst, but I don't think it's going to hold out. It gets worse. It's not too bad when I start talking, but then as it progresses over like 15 minutes, it starts to diminish until I can't say anything. So it's going to be a pretty quiet show if I'm on for more than 15 minutes, probably anyway.
Well, there's only about 20 odd minutes to go, so see how you go, and I'll hang around.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, let's do the run, because the thing is, there are a few things to look at. Thanks, Paul. Thank you, mate. It's do you know what? It's just frustrating, because I actually I do feel a bit unwell, but I don't feel really crook, to use an Australian term.
Listen very carefully, Ash. You need a boiling water in a mug.
Yeah.
With honey and garlic in the bottom.
Oh,
Stir in some rum.
sounds better.
And a dash of chili.
Oh man, that sounds terrible.
It's it works every single time.
It doesn't sound like it's going to be nice going in or out.
No, it's fine. It's got a bit of a ooh to it, but you get over that fairly quickly.
And a shot of whiskey would do me. Right, let's start with the FTSE. So the first thing I think to note really is the FTSE's got some room. You know, we talked about potentially hedging FTSE versus the Nasdaq, and I still think there's some mileage in that. But the FTSE's got some room. You look at this weekly chart. There's the trend line, and it might even be it's somewhere around about there. So that's going to put us around about 73.50 to 73.75, something like that, with the FTSE. And at that point, I would have thought that we would see some downside. Let's just see if that number gets tidied up with some horizontal levels on the monthly. It doesn't really. It's a bit scruffy around here, possibly there. It's not great. Actually, there's a little one here, possibly one there. So it does look all right, but you know, somewhere between 73 and 73.50, I would have thought. So it looks like there's room to run. 1%, possibly 2% further to the upside on the FTSE, I think is achievable. After that, I do think we're coming down. I think we're probably not necessarily turning around, wholesale. But when you think how long this run has been going on to the upside, we've been looking for a 10% correction in the global markets that just hasn't materialized. So I think we're overdue. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq. Same sort of thing. I mean, since this point, really, this is where we haven't had any genuine correction, and I think we're still overdue that. Last month's bar started to look like it may be the start of something, but this month's been very, very strong. So we've really kind of had a bit of a flip-flopping over here. But we've still got a few days left for the month, and it might take something relatively seismic. But overnight we had some earnings reports. Microsoft pretty solid. Alphabet not solid at all, and a lot of the run in the Nasdaq in the last few days has really been the Tesla story, selling Hertz rental car, looking for 100,000 vehicles, EV vehicles, and I think Tesla were kind of earmarked for certainly a huge chunk of that, and Tesla's price has just bounced incredibly high. Off the back of it, maybe up about 30% in a couple of days, which is crypto standard in some respects. But look at what's happening here. We've got this double top here, and price did reject down yesterday's bar, high test bar, and also just slightly inside the previous day, so gap down, but surged to the upside, hit the highs and came down again. It might purely be a technical reaction to hitting those highs. There was some talk of corporate tax as well in the Senate yesterday, and a lot of the movement seemed to be to do with that, but we haven't got the follow through as yet today. So one of two things is happening. Number one, it was a non-story and we're not going to go down. Well, number two, the market's waiting for something else before it happens, actually opens a trapdoor. So we'll see how this transpires through the day. Currently, the Nasdaq is sat at the daily pivot here, and it looks like a possible grab for that weekly. Not a bad place to try and take a trade in many respects. It looks like around about 145 pips to the upside for a possible near 300 to the downside. So it looks like a 2-to-1 trade is on. Just whether you believe that the Nasdaq could fail here, but we talk about context a lot. When you get bars like this at these levels, Let's make that a little bit bigger. When you get bars like this at these levels, then all of a sudden we've got context, because we've got a technical picture. Sorry, let's get rid of those and start again. This here, that particular bar, the next bar that that we'd want to see to get some confidence that this is, you know, genuinely going to start failing here, is the bar doing something like that, you know, actually genuinely cutting in to the first bar's range. So then it becomes, you know, rather than the bar looking like this, it would look like this. Today's bar would end up looking like that. So if that was to happen, then it would suggest that the Nasdaq may well actually start a journey to the downside, because this would be an evening star with a 3-bar pattern. So you might want to wait until the end of today before you take any shorts on the Nasdaq. Might be a bit early, and it could hold on here for a few days or even a few weeks, or even pop further to the upside. The Nasdaq's been very, very strong. So earnings season unfolding. Yesterday, not quite as hot from the Nasdaq's companies, so possible, you know, further weakness. We'll see how that transpires. Could it, by the end of this week, create a high test bar also on the weekly? You know, it's possible that this weekly ends up near the lows, and if that was to happen, then I think we are genuinely looking at some downside that could be relatively prolonged on the Nasdaq. So I don't know what drives it, but that does suggest that the Nasdaq's in a bit of trouble there. That's the day. Look at the S&P, same sort of thing, all-time highs, and just seen some weakness. That would suggest that we would test this level here on the S&P. Not into counter trend trading on either of these two markets over a long-term period of time, but you would think that a possible short to go long could be in, and with the anticipation that this may well still fail, and then you've just got the short on. So we'll see what happens there, but a relatively, you know, steep move to the upside without any kind of retest of this area, which I kind of want to see. This area not getting the retest. Where are you? That one there, no retest. Pull that again with a better color. That one there, and that one there, and that one there. So none of these levels have been retested, and actually so far neither is this. So you've got 4 levels. Very rare for to get nothing at all off the back of that. And you know, just back to the Nasdaq, what I did notice on this was that when you get your monthly bar at the high, monthly red at the high, the following bar is normally also red. This one, okay, it didn't work out, but that's more of a spinning top. This one wasn't at, okay, maybe you could say that's at the high as well, but it's it would suggest when you get a solid body here, second, you know, it did actually cause a bit of a downtrend here. This one here as well. Eventually, I suppose that the move to the downside kind of comes in, but it tends to stay sticky when you see an engulfing bar like this kind of form. So I wonder whether we should be too confident with the Nasdaq here. I wonder whether there might still be some downside to come on that one. Just on a technical basis. The problem is the VIX is not behaving and not performing. I'd want to see the VIX really start to gain some juice and some upside if we're going to see the US market start to come off. And that might well hamper the FTSE. So we might see a run to the FTSE to the upside, maybe 2%. Then we start to see the VIX pick up. NASDAQ, S&P starts to roll over, and then the FTSE will follow it. But it's not really happening just yet. Gold, you know, as frustrating as ever, just not holding levels at all. Now it's back to the price point that you'd probably say is a buy zone, no problem with that. But this was meant to hold through the 1800 level. And it hasn't really. Okay, maybe by the end of today it looks better. Actually, looking at this, I should just double check that that is the level. No, I don't think it is. Well, it might be. Yeah, it's a difficult one actually. I don't think you could use that level. You maybe a couple of different trend lines on here. So possibly you could use that. And actually that looks, actually, no, that is pretty good. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 clean touches. So you'll be looking at gold to create some sort of reversal bar here on the daily. And if that was to happen, and you know, you do get the gold above 1800 again, that would seem like gold could be actually, you know, going certainly towards this point here. Nice point of resistance here. So gold is looking relatively good. Silver better because of the gold silver ratio, but I would much prefer if silver was down here. That would make me really, really excited about silver and trying to get in. Just not there yet. Nice confluence level there. And then finally, let's just look at the dollar index, because the dollar index would suggest that, you know, now we've hit this horizontal level. You're thinking about structure. There's the low, and there's the burst of the low. So there's the low end or the high end of structure now. Sorry, the low end of the downside structure, with the high end being up here, and we're just in between, just inside it. So the dollar index really probably won't show itself until the end of the day. So not too sure what's going to happen really with the markets without more information. If we just have a quick look at what's happened overnight and coming, we've got the Aussie CPI data 0.8%. And trim CPI data at 0.7%, so gaining actually quite significantly in Australia. Quite a lot of numbers today, but nothing huge, I don't think. Budget from the UK as well. That's probably going to keep the FTSE on hold, and it'll probably keep the pound on hold as well. Big announcement. So be very careful trading the pound today. That announcement's at 12 midday UK time, so in around about 3 hours time. After that, the pound's going to get volatile, going to be great for short-term traders, but probably not so good for long-term traders. So yeah, have a look at the pound later on, saying around about 3 hours time. It's not too late your time. ECB press conference tomorrow. I think Christine Lagarde will probably come out and say nothing to see here, and it might well weaken the euro further. It's not necessarily the biggest point that the euro's got to make. Core PC and the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index, I think the big numbers really for Friday, and then we go into to next week. So looks like tomorrow, later today, tomorrow, depending on the currency you're trading, is going to be something you need to watch. Today it's going to be for the pound after in about 3 hours. Tomorrow probably the euro, I would think, and maybe going into Friday we might see the dollar, but it looks a bit choppy. So careful is the overall take on that. Be very careful of those equities, that they look technically toppy, but they still haven't got the catalyst to drive them down. There's nothing concrete to take us anywhere. So yeah, be kind of careful out there. I can't really say too much more because my voice is actually hurting. So I might have to leave it there.
You got a bottle of rum, mate, or what?
I don't know if I do, mate, but I got a shop down the road, so I can go.
Down the off license. There you go.
Yeah.
You'll be right tomorrow. You'll be perfect.
Oh, do you know, I need to be, because I've got an event on the weekend. So yeah. Lots going on.
Oh well, all right. Yeah, it's about 10 to. I'll share a couple of things before we geo. This is our last Wednesday too. Don't forget.
Yeah, last Wednesday. Yeah, Ainsley's going to join us next Monday. Last 15 minutes for a little gold update.
All right, action-packed show on Monday with 4 of us in. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
There should be plenty of opportunity.
You, me, George, Ainsley.
Yeah, should be plenty of opportunity to get a good feel over 4 people as to what might be ahead for the week. Missed a couple this week because they're just happening at the wrong time. There's one that's just gone by, as a matter of, a couple of hours ago, I suppose. When the 4-hour candles closed, I don't even know that anymore since daylight saving came back. This one I don't see too often, but I talk about it all the time. It's not giving me exactly what you want, but it's giving you something that is slingshottish, I'll put it that way. So you know how we trade false breaks? We trade false breaks of trade lines generally, and we're looking for I'm looking for one here. We're looking for pretty much exactly that. So breakout, consolidate, back underneath, retest, go short there. That's a very poor example because you're trading straight into the bottom of the range. But these happen all the time, all the time. And when you get to the bottom of the range is always a trend line or a trade line. So the horizontal levels become trend lines for me. So do hypotenuse of triangles. So do bases of triangles. They're all trade lines to me. So when I see break, consolidate, then you've got to tweezer bottom to boot back into the range, retest the range pretty much on the daily pivot. That's a trade every single day of the week right there. That candle, enter there, stop loss under the daily pivot, bang. Why have I not seen that? Because I wasn't here. Simple as that. That's now giving you another opportunity, potentially, if we do bounce off the daily resistance 1, which is where we're at now, and maybe even on a smaller time frame. Yeah, it doesn't look that good, but maybe if you were presented with something like, I don't know, something back to here, and maybe a higher low presents itself there after the re-entry. This is the second phase, or the second thing, or it's actually the first thing that we look for, is a higher low after we've come back into the range. And we've done that, come back into the range, that is. So we're waiting now for a higher low. So a retest of that line and a rejection bar would look good for a long take profit here. Leave something on after you take the second profit there, just in case it does reverse and break out of that range. But when it gets to there, look for something like that, or something like we're waiting for now, re-entry, retest, higher low, long. I can see some questions. You will not be joining you guys for 3 sessions. That is tomorrow, Monday, and next Thursday, Lewis. Only 3 sessions, as only 2 a week now. Okay, you've confused me. Only 3 sessions, as only 2. Did you get that, Ash? I'm missing something, Lewis.
I think you worked it out, mate. I think it's tomorrow, Monday, and Thursday. So maybe in 2 weeks' time, he's back.
Okay, that'll do me. I'll go with that. Wanted to point that out. I still want to get short Kiwi dollar, but I'm keeping a very, very close eye on this dollar index and that trade line. If we get a close underneath here with this 4-hour bar, I may well change my bias. But that said, it's also still a bounce point because there's this, well, I can't see that. Man, what color is it? Black. So there's also a level to be contended with here, which is where price is bang on right now, or it's actually trying to break it. So this could be a very strong signal if we do get a close below that level. It is a strong confluence area. A retest of that level after a close down here would have me change allegiances very, very quickly. So I'd be on the side of the bears then. But you've got to bear in mind, sorry, bear. You've got to bear in mind that we're still inside this range, and we're kind of looking at this stuff over here. So we could be here for some time, as I said weeks ago. So no close below anything there on the weekly chart. So you just got to be careful and wait your turn and until it unfolds. Really, at the end of the day, you're still in a range, and you've got to wait for these signals. So if this does become a false break, it should be clear. Close here, retest, should be clear. If it's not clear, don't take it. Same going the other way. If we get a close above that line, that's pretty bullish to me. That's pretty bullish. I'd look for an entry on a smaller time frame long at that point. Or this is the dollar index, just turn it over to euro dollar or anything against the dollar. Pound, well, not so much the pound because we've got news coming. Euro, Aussie. I didn't realise that Aussie news was out today. I've been very, very busy boy. I didn't sit in front of the charts until about 5 minutes before the show. That kind of changes things a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of changes things. I was an Aussie bear before that. I noticed the market hasn't really swung into gear on that news. Bit of a reaction in the first instance, but since then, not too much.
They probably want probably want some sort of intimation, don't they, that it matters.
Yeah, well, you know what I say, don't
you? I don't.
If it doesn't react the way you think it should react, then it's probably going to react in the reverse.
Yeah.
So that ties in with my short bias. Have formed a double top here. I'll keep watching it, and if it does set up, then happy days. There's some clear indicators here. I think you can probably even go right down to there. You'd be waiting for that to break probably on a 4-hour chart. Break, retest, lower high in here. Yum. That makes sense to me. Aussie yen, which is the one I've been waiting on all week. Not there yet. But that looks to have broken that short-term trend. What the hell is this template? This must be a zigzag one. Don't know. Yeah, this looks like potential false break material too. I'm still keen, guys, still keen. Aussie gets a lower high on just about anything, but versus the dollar probably better until you see the dollar close below that line I showed you before. Kiwi US dollar same. In fact, Kiwi US dollar now that I've heard that news on the CPI figures makes more sense than does the Aussie, but they tend to tag along together as well. So the Aussie may well drag the Kiwi with it if it does go. Taking a vacation till November the 10th. What a lucky man. But try to be with you guys. I mean, happy days, Lewis. I hope you can. If not, mate, enjoy your holiday anyway. Just enjoy your holiday. Don't take your computer with you. Yeah, likely, eh? You'll be trading. I know you. Righto. Yeah, sure. I don't think there's too much more I want to go through. It's pretty much all been said earlier. And I think I'll leave it at that until tomorrow.
Right, mate. Thanks so much for today.
Do it, bud.
All right. All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow for the quiz, of course, which is further enables me to rest a little bit, so I can just type in all my right answers. So I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you guys for joining us. Sorry about the lack of sound from my vocal cords. Thank you to you, mate. As always, it really did help me out. And to Angel. So we'll be back tomorrow, and then no more Wednesday. So RIP to Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow, and then following that Monday and Thursday. Thank you, guys. Thank you to you, mate. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, everyone, for being our trading buddies. And Lewis, stay out of the casino if you haven't got a computer with you. Of course, you can trade on a cruise. See you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye for now.